Hi everybody. I'm having issues with technology again. I can't seem to figure out this whole rotation fiasco thing. So yeah. Hi Gary. I'm gonna have to get another tutorial from my friend Barbie Lee, who helps me out with this, because I was getting messages from my phone again telling me that I couldn't rotate my phone and that everything was all messed up. So this isn't the best solution. I look kind of weird because my phone is propped up on books, but at least I'm not holding it this time. So I apologize, I'm a little bit late because I had to figure out how to prop up my phone, fix my hair, without having it fall over. So proceeding with confidence in amongst all of this stuff is another challenge. And here we are to talk about things that make you go, So I'm just going to take a moment to get back that feeling before I proceed. So I have two books. One is a nonfiction and one is a fiction. And the nonfiction is called The Bad Kitty Handbook, A Journey Toward Authentic Female Sensuality. And the fiction is Serial Love, Book 1 of the Bad Kitty Untethered series. And I'm going to be doing a little bit of reading from both of those today. First, why is confidence sexy? Why is it something that makes me and so many other people go, Well, it is definitely something that we notice about people right off the bat. It's, even if someone is quiet or introverted, we notice very quickly whether or not they're confident. Confidence is not necessarily being the loudest person in the room. Actually, often the person who is the loudest person in the room is often not confident and they're compensating for something. 1 second. So it pays to look past that and to really find out whether or not a person is confident. And of course, there's plenty of indicators, and there's plenty of ways to make sure that you feel confident or can build your confidence. Which reminds me, there was something about that on my laptop that I was going to refer to, so I better turn that on so that I can get to it. So I want to start with a story about myself. When I was younger, I've always worn glasses. Since I was in grade 3, I've worn glasses. And I dabbled with contacts for a while, but after several years of wearing contacts, I went back to glasses. Partially because it's just easier, and partially because I actually like the way I look with glasses better than without. When I went to contacts, though, I realized that I spent a lot of my time looking down. When I walk, when I meet people, I had a really hard time making eye contact. So I started to really pay attention to that and make an effort to make more solid eye contact with people. And as I was doing that, I noticed that I stood taller, even though that wasn't really necessary, being 6 feet tall. I felt better. I felt more present with people, and they responded to me a lot more favorably as well. So just that tiny little change in the way I went about in the world, rather than hiding by keeping my eyes down, making eye contact, saying hello to people, staying with them in their eyes when we were talking, changed the way I was in the world. Hey Rob, Thanks for joining us. We're talking about confidence today. Another thing that really shows confidence is your posture. People who slouch usually are not terribly confident. So if you carry yourself strong and tall, you're generally seen as more confident. I want to read a quote. One of my favorite people, especially as far as really good quotes go, is Mae West. And Mae West is, if you're not familiar with her, she's an actress from like the 30s. And she was a tiny little thing, but she had a huge attitude. And one of her quotes, I'm reading from my Bad Kitty Handbook, that I love. I have a whole section in this book about bad kitties and quotes from some of my favorite women. And this one says, "A man can be short and dumpy and getting bald, but if he has fire, women will like him." And that's true about women as well. You know, a woman can be just okay looking, but if she has a fire and a confidence, she's super sexy. Same with and men as well. There's just something about that, the way we change, the way we hold ourselves, the way we interact with the world when we're confident, that makes us super sexy, and makes me and many other people go, I like it. One way for women anyway, hi Nancy. So I'm glad I've got a woman on for this part, to make you more sexy is how you walk. So for women especially, when you watch children walk, when you watch animals walk, you'll notice that their hips move. They go back and forth and back and forth. And men as well tend to move this way as well. But for some reason, women, whether it's because we're told to, suppress our sexuality, or made fun of when we're younger, whatever reason, we tend to hold our hips very still when we walk, and we kind of walk from our hip sockets rather than from our hip pelvic region. And so if I had the room, if I had the video, a person to follow me with video, I would show you the walk. But basically, it's concentrating on moving the hips, not just moving the legs. And if you watch a model walk, they put one foot in front of the other, and that helps you get that hip movement. And it's super sexy, especially when you're looking up and making eye contact with people. Another quote from the lovely Mae West. "Anything worth doing is worth doing slowly." So that's one of the ways to build your confidence. That's one reason I took a little pause before I started, because I was feeling a little flustered. So I just waited for a moment, slowed my heart down, slowed my breath down, so that I could proceed without rushing. And that's something that's very sexy, when we slow down, when we slow our breathing, when we slow our movements, when we slow how we speak, so that we really kind of chew on our words and make them more weighty and more interesting. When we eat, I am totally guilty of just devouring my food because I love it, and I get hungry, because I'm hypoglycemic. Sometimes I wait too long, and so then I just chow and don't even think about what I'm doing. That's another way to really show your sexiness and your confidence, is to eat slowly. Do everything slowly. Another way to build your own confidence, if you feel like it might be lacking, is to take risks. Take a class that might challenge you. Do something out of your comfort zone. We've all heard the reference, this circle is what you're comfortable with. This circle is what you're not comfortable with. And the growth happens between those two circles. So if you stay in that tiny little circle, your confidence can't grow. your confidence will lag. And I can talk about that from experience, because for the last several years I've been risk averse, and I could feel my confidence slipping. I started going back to the first example, started doing less eye contact, started to say no to things instead of yes, and feeling really like I was missing out and losing parts of myself because I wasn't taking risks anymore. And when you start not taking risks, it gets easier and easier and easier not to take risks. So keep doing it. Keep doing that stuff that makes you a little frightened. And when you're done, you go, that was good. Make lists of your strengths and achievements. Looking at that, we can often get caught up in, where I failed, where I'm not good enough, instead of realizing how amazing we are. And when that list is right in front of you, it's really hard to ignore. Another way to do it, if you're having trouble with your own list, is to ask other people. Say, what am I really good at? What do you admire about me? And they can tell you, and you can put that on the list, because often people have very different views and see very different things about us than we do. That will help you think more positively about yourself, which will, of course, build confidence. I like some of these. Wear clean clothes. I hope you wear clean clothes. Exercise regularly. Exercise really builds confidence. It's part of that taking risks, because anytime we exercise, we're pushing ourselves a little bit. I do yoga, and every once in a while, the instructor gives me gives a move that I've never done before, or that I find especially difficult, or comes into it in a way that I'm unfamiliar with. And it's easy to just go, nope, not doing it. But instead, really taking that chance and doing it builds confidence. And so the next time that comes around, it's easier, and I'm more likely to go, okay, yeah, I've done this before, I can do it, I'm confident in it. Hey, Dennis. Get enough sleep. It's hard to be confident when you're tired, because your posture slouches, your presence is lessened, and of course, everything goes to pot. Do more things that you enjoy. Take the time to remember all of those things that give you joy. My old company, when I had my speaking company, my motto was giggle with glee. And I still love that, because when I say it, it makes me smile. And when I think about doing my life like that, it makes me so much happier, because I'm more likely to be drawn to things that I enjoy and spoil myself and laugh and just have a good time. And that is reflected in your confidence level, because when you're having fun, you are more confident. Do things you've been putting off. Oh my God. When I have a lot of things incomplete in my life, my confidence goes down, because all I can think about is all that crap that I have to get done. And putting another thing on the plate just seems impossible. So when you're making your list about the great things about you, your what were the words? Strengths and achievements. Make another list, the completion list, and start checking things off that, and that will really change your confidence level as well. Be nice to people. Nothing wrong with that. When you're feeling good about your life and your contribution to life, of course your confidence is going to go up. Spend time with those you hold dear, especially if they're positive people, because they will build you up rather than tearing you down. And that ties into the next one. Avoid people and places that treat you badly or make you feel bad about yourself. They just don't need to be in your life. Unfortunately, sometimes they're family, but we can always find ways to get around that, and that might be a whole other conversation. Do things, we talked about taking risks. And one thing I want you to take from this today is this little phrase. How can I impress myself in this situation? So whether it's a relationship you're dealing with, a conversation you're having, a decision you have to make, how can I impress myself in this situation? And the more you impress yourself, the more your confidence grows. Let's go back to Mae West for a moment. And I lost my little sticky note, so there we go. There it is. We talked about being yourself last week. And it all ties in together. Laughter, which was our first week, being yourself, which was last week, and confidence, which is this week. Personality is the glitter that sends your gleam across the footlights and the orchestra pit into that big black space where the audience is. So your personality is your confidence, and all of that works together to get you past all of the riffraff, all of the blick, all of the negativity, and shine and be that person that makes other people go, I likey. A couple of other quotes. My You Are a Badass calendar. I'm really liking it because it gives me stuff every week that I can share with you. Hi, Heidi. Thank you so much for joining. And this, again, it ties in being yourself with confidence. Understand that your gifts, talents, and desires were given to you because you are meant to thrive and share your you-ness with the world as only you can. So you're going back to your achievements and the positive things about you. Those are your talents, your desires. There, you have them for a reason. Go out and get them. There's a reason why I wanted to write an erotic novel. There's a reason why I wanted to speak to women about their sensuality. There's a reason for all of these things. And if we deny those things, then we are ripping off ourselves and our confidence and the world. So get out there and be you and be confident and just get those things done. Why not be the biggest, happiest, most generous, and fully realized humanoid you can be? I love that. Most fully realized humanoid you can be. So I mentioned that I have an erotic novel called Serial Love, and some of you already have it, which I am so happy. Thank you so much for buying Serial Love. And I want to share with you a quick reading from it. Now, it is an erotic novel. And of course, Facebook does not like things that are too sexy. So we're going to go with a tamer portion of the book. One of the characters that I get the most feedback on in the book is not the heroine, but her best friend. And that's because she is so true to herself and is really, really she's just a confident, lovely person, giving and generous, and so people really respond to her. So I just want to read a part of the book very near the beginning where Kathy and Barb are just starting to get to know each other. And Kathy is the heroine and Barb is the friend. So they've been working together for years. Kathy just assumed that she was an ordinary, boring kind of work friend. But then she finds out a few things about her that she realizes are a little more juicy. And they're out for dinner or out at a bar, and she discovers just what a great friend Barb is. Barb and I went to a nearby bar after work. We sat at a corner booth in the back. Dimly lit, with a high curved back, I fidgeted with my wine glass as she looked at me. She didn't say anything. No questions, no prodding. I knew she wanted me to confide in her, but so far I hadn't really told anyone the details of what happened. I had realized after the breakup that I didn't have any close friends, only acquaintances, mostly from work. And since both my parents were gone and I had no siblings, I felt lost. I took a sip of wine and looked up at Barb. She raised a single eyebrow, and suddenly the words started to spill out. He said he didn't want to be married anymore. I felt like everything we had together, or I thought we had together, was worthless. That I was worthless. He told me that I was boring and unadventurous. Do you have any idea how many times I asked him to go to an event or try a different sexual position and he said no? I mean, seriously. It's like the man I met who was so fun and spontaneous and loving just disappeared, and it was all my fault. Like I was nothing, just a name on a piece of paper that he decided to put up with for a few years. You know, we had planned to have kids? She shook her head. Yeah, at least 2, we had said. Every time I brought it up, he said, not yet. Then last year, I mentioned it, and I realized I didn't actually want kids. Or was it that I knew things weren't right and I just didn't want them with him? I don't even know. I took a moment to blow my nose on the tissue that had magically appeared in front of me, and Barb took another tissue out of her purse and laid it on the table. I took it and twisted it in my hand as she pulled out another, and I continued. Now that I think about it, I should have done something ages ago. It's so obvious looking back that neither of us were happy. He gave up. I gave up. I was always pretending everything was fine when it wasn't. I shook my head and Barb sat waiting, her eyes soft and her body language open. Suddenly my face flushed and my blood boiled. He was such an ass. Not just that night, but all the time. Living off me, doing nothing, expecting me to take care of everything while he sat on his lazy ass. I actually have a dent in my couch from where he sat. That same crappy couch his parents gave us from their basement. We never had any money for vacations or anything nice because of him. I paused to wipe away some angry tears and noticed people stealing looks towards us. I felt like giving them the finger and yelling at them to mind their own business, but continued instead. I barely dated before Jeff. He was the best sex I'd ever had, but only because I'd barely had any. Shit. I need to have more sex. I felt a light go off inside of me and repeated slowly, I need to have more sex. Go figure. I just need sex. When I didn't say anything for a minute, sitting hunched and softly sniffling, Barb spoke softly. So, now what? I took a breath and let it out slowly, trying to find the answer. My heart was pounding. Despite my loud, confident declaration, I wasn't ready. Get online? It was a question more than a statement. She laughed. I've been on a good site for years. She pulled out her phone, and after a few clicks, she turned the screen toward me. The banner read, Adult Alternative Friends Found, with a picture of a naked woman in a yoga pose, her face hidden, and the heading, Down Dog and All Other Positions Here. I stared at it for a moment. I looked up at my straight-laced lunch companion, who had a lopsided grin on her face. Is that you? She raised her eyebrows and nodded. Are you? What is? No coherent words seemed to want to form in my mind or my mouth. Barb giggled. I tried to remember if I'd ever heard that sound come out of her before. There's lots of fun to be had if you're willing. I thought my head was going to explode. This is nuts. I know this must come as a surprise. I'm a little, freer outside of work. I'll say. She laughed, mirthful and open. How about we go shopping this weekend? Get you some new clothes to help you get out of your rut. So that's a little bit about Barb and Kathy. And I wanted to share that with you because it shows her confidence, because she just let Kathy do her thing. She didn't press, she didn't prod. She was just there as a friend because she was confident. She didn't need to do anything extraneous to bring her friend around to what she needed. So that is about it for today. remember, show off your confidence to the world and do whatever it takes. Take risks. Remember the how can I impress myself in this situation? And be you. Be confident. Be sexy. Be juicy. Make everyone around you go or any kind of other iteration of those little letters. And happy Sunday, and stay sexy, everyone. Talk to you later.